smartest thing, but we'll do it. Probably not the dumbest thing we've ever done. Well, I know it's not the dumbest thing I've ever done. It's the dumbest thing you've ever done?
There is that. No.
No. I've done some plenty stupid stuff. You'd think I'd learn.
You would think.
But I don't know what it is. I just don't. For whatever reason. I just
may not be the
don't.
smartest thing.
I don't want to see that. I want to see that bigger. Huh? I did not. I will. All right. Okay. Okay. Hey, what is this? What does it mean to send a Steam uplink to Rumble? Or is that a stream uplink?
Stream uplink.
By the way, hi, Paul and Robin, and Ginger, and Jamie.
We used to do that.
But we can't. But we don't because...
We don't because it was just such a hurdle to get it done every day. Because it wasn't saving them. It would stream them live, but it wasn't saving them. And that's at the time. That was before Christmas, so I can go back out and look at Rumble.
I think everybody's going there.
Probably. We have a Rumble login.
Oh, and I realized on the Epic thing, the Epic Times, the subscription, that's not a premium. That's just a account.
Oh, well, then that's not true. We have a.
The one you sent me was just an account.
All right, then I may have sent you the wrong one. Let me look.
Why do you always do that to me? Why do you always send me the wrong one? Huh?
I do not know.
Why?
Dude.
Why? It's because I'm pretty, isn't it? It's because I'm pretty and you feel threatened. Just go ahead. You know what? Admit it. Just admit it.
Yeah, it says, let's see. My subscription.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. $79 every 6 months.
You're wrong.
No, I'm
The
looking
one
at
you
it.
sent me?
Yes.
No.
Oh, shit.
Question isn't who's going to let us. The question is who's going to stop us. Adjust your mojo now. Thank you. The mothership has landed. Brad Staggs. The mighty Mojo 50.
Well, hopefully nobody was injured by the monkeys. There were, I don't know, I've heard everything from 10 monkeys to 100 monkeys aboard this trailer that was driving through Pennsylvania. And this was on Saturday night. And then the truck that they were traveling in collided with a dump truck. And then the monkeys, I mean, it was, I mean, just imagine 100 monkeys or even 10 monkeys being in a car accident and escaping the scene. They would be. Have you ever tried to catch 10? Have you ever tried to catch a monkey?
No. I can truthfully say I've never tried to catch a monkey.
I've never tried to catch a monkey either, but they look like they would be a giant pain in the ass to catch. You multiply that by 10 or even 100, and you have you got a party on your hands, is what is what I've heard. 4 lab monkeys, they said, escaped Friday. See, the reports on this are all over the place, which leads me to believe the government is involved somewhere. These were lab monkeys, apparently. The warning that they set out: we are asking that no one attempt to look for or capture the monkey. Anyone who sees or locates the monkey is asked not to approach, attempt to catch, or come in contact with the monkey. Simply call 911. Do not try to catch the monkey. Don't look at the monkey in the eye. If you see the monkey, immediately look away. Act as though you did not see the monkey. And PETA was also involved. They released a statement after the crash noting that the long-tailed macaques, it is macaque, isn't it? Is that
I do not know the answer to that question.
I'm fairly certain. I've heard it both ways. But they were on their way to a CDC-approved quarantine facility in Florida after arriving in the United States from Mauritius. They from somewhere outside the country. They were coming here, and they were headed to a CDC-approved quarantine facility. So it makes you wonder, why weren't you, if you saw the monkey, why weren't you supposed to approach the monkey? Don't look at it. Don't try to kiss it. Don't try to pick it up. Even though they're cute, they will eat your face. They were headed there. It doesn't say exactly what was going to happen to them once they got to the CDC-approved quarantine facility in Florida. And one would ask, why were they shipped to the United States? However they arrived here, I'm assuming it was the cargo hold of an airplane. Why were they shipped not directly to Florida?
Yeah, there was a story about them having to be shipped across the country.
But if they came here from from Mauritius or wherever the hell that is,
what was the story? Somebody said something about them traveling in an open container, and it was cold as hell.
They were driving with an open container.
Yeah.
One of the monkeys was driving, and
But
he had
why?
an open container.
Yeah, why?
That's a great question. I mean, if they were headed to a CDC-approved quarantine, and anytime now I see CDC, I just think criminals. I see the FBI. Sadly, if I see a story about the FBI, I just think criminals, the CDC, criminals and liars. So there's these poor monkeys. Now I'm feeling bad for the monkeys. It used to be, my view was, okay, well, we got to test the lipstick on somebody, right? I mean, if women are going to be pretty and wear lipstick, we've got to test. We can't just hand women lipstick it's come out of a laboratory somewhere and say, here, put this on your mouth. Is it safe? Sure, it's safe. Shut up and put it on your mouth. No, we have to test it first. Now I'm changing who with a heart could have looked at the way we would test cosmetics and stuff like that, and the poor little pigs and monkeys are getting all this stuff all over their face, and now I'm feeling bad for them, because now I'm thinking that all of these people at the CDC and the FDA and the FBI, they're a bunch of criminals. Has your view not changed somewhat since the beginning of this fustercluck?
Well, a lot of my views have changed, unfortunately.
I know, right? It's weird. It's weird. I'm pulling for the monkeys now. I'm like wishing the monkeys had all escaped, except for the fact that they probably have been infected with some killer parasite, which is why they were headed to a CDC-approved quarantine facility in Florida, which brings us back to the original question. If there was a danger, because these things are going to be quarantined, if there was a danger, why were they being transported across our interstate system? The long-tailed macaque monkeys, they're also known as something other monkeys. Cynomolgus. The hell's a cynomolgus monkey? Can we not
I
just
don't know, but I assume you shouldn't be playing with those.
Should we not just call them macaque? Doesn't that make things simpler?
Okay.
They're used in scientific research. According to the New York Times, they were in high demand during the COVID-19 pandemic for researching the vaccine, which wasn't a vaccine, still isn't a vaccine, and possibly is responsible for the rise in deaths last year of over 40%. But that's a different story that we'll get to. It's going to be a weird one. Steven Crowder tweeted that earlier today. It'll be a weird day. I responded with, as has every day been since approximately March of 2020, when this whole shit show began. Remember the good old days prior to that? I kind of do. I mean, when we all weren't worried about vaccines and going into the hospital, when our biggest worries were, doing the funny transgender updates that we would do. Now
I remember the transgender updates.
Right? I mean, it used to be.
Still have those.
Yeah, somewhere. Well, it's just so happens coming up at the bottom of this hour. Hope to hear from Robin, who is our resident transgender listener. and not an activist, but a transgender listener, and is going to weigh in on the whole Dr. Phil issue. Dr. Phil with Mount Walsh and and I retweeted this morning the picture of. Remember, I told you that one of the transgender activists that was on Dr. Phil would have looked good if you, again, pick.
Without the beard?
Right.
Yes.
If you're gonna, pick a direction. Just seriously. Pick a direction. And apparently that tweet is unavailable. I tweeted it and it's now unavailable. That's strange. But it was a picture of one of the transgender activists on Dr. Phil in a bikini and yet wearing said long hair with a beard. Again, you'd be fine to pick one, left, right, go one way. Stop trying to go right down the middle.
Confusing everyone.
I mean, because again, it's like the images you'd see of the hot blonde from behind. You'd see the blonde hair, and then it turn around, and it was a dude, and you're like, whoa,
yeah,
kind of jarring. Same thing here, except you're getting it face first, getting the nice flowing locks and the false eyelashes and the batting the eyes, and then there's the beard. It's like, it's just disconcerting. Look, I'm as big a freak as the next person, but
I started to say those used to be sideshow performers at that point.
The bearded lady.
Yeah.
Right. And somewhere somebody looks at that and says, oh, got to have me some of that.
That is hot right there.
Right. And again, I don't care what it doesn't offend, whatever way you want to go, but just pick a direction. So at the bottom of the hour, we'll see about and in another piece of news in that same vein, as it were, not the best choice of adjectives. Leah Thomas deserves another round of applause. Leah Thomas again won, and Leah Thomas is the trans swimmer from Penn University, has won 2 more races over the weekend versus Harvard. So congratulations to Leah Thomas. She has, as you know, a biological male, beaten two other women. So we'll discuss. I mean, how do you blind a woman, Ron?
How do you blind a woman?
How do you blind a woman?
Show them what I see every day. You connect to me.
No, you put a windshield in front of her.
Wow.
What's loud and
both of those answers were funny as hell.
What's
People
loud?
just didn't know about that.
Exactly. See, what's loud and obnoxious?
I don't know what.
A woman? A quiet man is a thinking man. A quiet woman is usually mad. Isn't that the truth, right?
Yeah.
And see, the reason I found these jokes is because I was looking for one. Do you remember the old joke about how it was the guy who decided he had a wish and he decided he wanted to be a woman. They said, what was the hardest part about becoming a woman? And was it getting every the snip? And no, that wasn't it. Was it having to put on makeup? No, that wasn't it. And then the punchline of the joke was, no, the worst part was having to get half the brain sucked out of my head. Do you remember that old joke?
I do not.
All right. So
I'm glad that I have never told that joke too.
It's obviously it's
wow.
It's a joke. It's not true. It's a joke, for crying out loud. Hold on a second. I'm looking for the next joke here. Why? Oh, and this ties right in. Why are men sexier than women? Because you can't spell sexy without XY. See, it's a chromosome.
I see.
That is a thinking
person's
person's joke. And again, I say these only because who would have thought we'd be congratulating Leah Thomas, who is biologically a guy, for beating 2 women in the swim meet versus Harvard. And it's news. They were the 2 wins during the women's 100 and 200 meter freestyle races, easily beating the female competition in both cases. The world, and again, the world is a different place than what it was just a few years ago. Hell, last year. Yesterday.
But we said the same thing last year, too. So, yeah.
It just keeps getting weirder and weirder and weirder. If you want to join whatever this is, we call it the Daily Mojo. Some others call it a train wreck with or without monkeys. It could be the macaques, might not be. You can use the hashtag What I Learned Today over on the Twitters. We're working on the getters and the gabs and all that stuff as soon as I figure out a way not to be able to do it without being overwhelmed. And as far as as Rumble is concerned, we're working on that too. They don't make it easy. At least Ron says they don't make it easy. Wisconsin Jackhole says, I say they should keep the beard with the feminine traits. It's easier to figure out. That's kind of a spoiler, though, isn't it? I see your point. I ever tell you about the time?
I see your point.
I probably shouldn't tell that story right now.
Why not, Brad? You're already out there on the limb. It
involves a shower, and I'm pretty sure it was a dude. Pickled Squirrel says, a quiet woman is plotting your demise. No kidding. Big Pharma Steve, insert obligatory comment about if you catch one of the monkeys, can you spank it? Can you shock it? And 6% Cisse Podway, which I believe is right. Where did Cisse Podway go? Do you remember where we put Cisse Podway?
No.
I don't either. Maybe it's right there. Is that them?
Cisse Podway!
Yeah, strangely. Macaque monkey, your cock monkey. No, I don't believe that's exactly what I said, but I mean, I guess it's possible. If you don't think things are going to get weird and strange, you got another thing coming. It could be a macaque monkey, but who knows? Go to preparewithmojo50.com right now and be prepared for whatever strangeness the future holds, whether it is floods, fire, famine, flagrant violations of inflammatory speech. You can get $50 off right now the 30-day food supply. That would be a 4-week emergency food supply kit. It has breakfast, lunch, dinner, drinks, snacks. If you have a big family. See, here's the difference between us and the federal government. When you go to preparewithmojo50.com, you can get the 3-month emergency food supply. You're going to save, I think, $150 on that bad boy. And you can get as many of these as you want. It depends on the size of your family. It depends on the size of the group that you want to make sure is safe. When you go to the federal government's official website to get your free masks, the free COVID testing kits, you can only get 4.
Correct.
What if I have a family of 6? Tough shit.
Tough shit for 2 of them.
Right. You're just going to have to, 4 of you can get tested, and the other 2 are going to have to walk around in a stupor and not know what the hell. I mean, they could be oozing smeg all over everybody else. And
well, but you can test 4 people, and if 4 people are positive, you can almost be assured that the other 2 are.
How do you know that?
Because of the schmeg.
I mean, true. I mean, if you're leaving big clouds of schmeg around, people are walking through them, you're likely to get others to come down with it. But the point is that at preparewithmojo50.com, we think of you as a human, as a person, as somebody who wants to be prepared for whatever the hell the universe is about to throw at it. So preparewithmojo50.com is the website, and right now you can save big money. Plus, there is a really cool tool over there you need to take a look at. It's the pocket plasma lighter with a flashlight. Have you seen that thing? Oh, first of all, I'm queer for flashlights.
Pocket plasma lighter.
Yes. It's a plasma lighter. It also has a flashlight. It is, you can recharge the thing. It's windproof, it's waterproof, it's winterproof, and it's bad to the bone. I mean, if there is ever an apocalypse, you need this thing in it. Go to preparewithmojo50.com. Another television character has died thanks to Peloton. By the way, it is your Daily Mojo for Monday, the 24th of January. I think I'm drunk already. I didn't start drinking until like 5:30, but it kicked in
You can't
fast.
possibly be drunk already.
Well, I don't know. It's another TV show, this time on Billions. Remember when Big died on, that wasn't Sex in the City, but it's the new And Just Like That, which is the spinoff. So Big is riding the Peloton exercise bike, and she comes home, and he's sitting on the floor, and he ends up dying.
Yeah.
Even though she's not, apparently Carrie Bradshaw, not smart enough to like give CPR or call 911. She sits there and lets him die in her arms after climbing off the Peloton. Now in Billions, the guy doesn't die. He has a heart attack, and it's the character is was it Mike? I believe. Wags is the character's name. And they make a reference to Big in Billions. He says, I'm not going out like Mr. Big. Here's the thing with this. Do you know that last time this happened, Peloton had an 11% stock drop?
That doesn't surprise me.
I mean, people do know it's a television show, right?
Yes, and people get concerned about the fact that if they have a Peloton, they're going to die on it.
Now, technically, Big didn't die on it. He died next to it on the floor in a pool of his own sweat. But I mean, seriously, why would stock drop after the? I mean, it wasn't the bike that killed him. So I can understand, and they did not give they didn't give permission for the bike to be used in Billions, which I get. I don't know if they have to. That's kind of one of those weird areas. I know that when we did anything for HGTV, if we put a painting on the wall, let's say, we had to get permission to use from the artist, because otherwise they could sue. And they did.
And they did.
And they did at one point. Cost, which wasn't, I mean, it was actually a lot of money back then. It's a lot of money now. It cost $5,000 to make the thing go away. So it's a real weird gray-ish area regarding whether or not stuff has to be okay to be in a TV show. CNBC on Thursday reported that Peloton was considering pausing production of its low-end bike for 2 months. But the CEO categorized the rumors that they were halting or pausing as false. It's so bizarre. So I guess they sold a ton of these during the year that wasn't 2020. And now people are going back to the gym, and they are facing, Peloton is facing some of these headaches involving not only the television shows, but also product recalls, which is kind of strange. The thing about it, the thing that I guess that bothers me is the fact that people will look at that and the stock will drop because, oh no, is that killing people? No, that was a television show and it's not, but there are people out there who believe anything they see on television.
Correct.
Anything at all. And that's why we're here. That's why we are here in the position that we are in. I hate to say it, we are facing a crisis of the gullible. That's what if they had come out and said that, I would have been fine with it. No, it's not a crisis of the unvaccinated, it's not a crisis it's a crisis of the gullible. And apparently there are a lot of the gulls out there. They will believe any damn thing you put in front of them. Anything at all. I want to get more into this. We touched briefly, unlike what you are not supposed to do with the monkeys. If you come across macaque monkeys, do not touch them.
Even so briefly.
Don't even brush up against them. Bad idea. But I think it was a couple of weeks ago we mentioned the fact that insurance companies had noted a 40% rise in deaths last year. Do you remember that?
I don't.
And this was according to One America, it's a major insurance company based in Indianapolis. And they did this during an online news conference close to the end of last year. He said the highest death rates they had seen in the history of the business were happened in the third and fourth quarter last year. It is unprecedented, he said. The data is consistent across every player in that business. What we just saw in the third quarter, we're seeing continue into the fourth quarter, is that death rates are up 40% over what they were pre-pandemic. And they were trying to figure out what the hell, why were people dying at a 40% higher rate than they were just a year before. And they don't have the information yet. They don't have complete information for the fourth quarter, nor do they obviously have it for the first quarter in 22. But this is coming from CDC death certificate data. So it's coming from the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. And the problem is they still don't know what it is. They still don't know why 40% more. That's huge. 40% more people dying in third and fourth quarter last year than in any year prior. And it's not because of COVID. So, again, what else could it be? What other event could have happened?
Flu?
Maybe. But we'll see. We'll discuss that coming up. Laird Leprechaun, off to a fantastic start. 29 missed innuendo bells in 23 minutes of the show. I don't know what. What did I say?
Macaque?
I did not say. Who said anything about that? Did I? Are you sure that was me? Were you listening to the right program? Because I'm not sure you were. I mean, I'm just saying. Just a... and also, Aaron Barker says feminism is being thwarted single-handedly by their archenemy, the penis, beard or not. Well, I see what you did there.
Good point.
I see what you did there. We will discuss just that coming up here in mere moments on your Daily Mojo.
Clear.
I wonder where that went. Where did that...
By the way, I confirmed that subscription, and I tried to add you as a user on my account, but it says you already were a user.
That's weird.
You didn't sign up also, did you?
No, I probably... Well, no, I already... but I did... I probably did it wrong. Okay, there it is. It's a Libs of TikTok. Why is it unavailable?
Libs of TikTok?
Yeah, why is the tweet unavailable?
Oh,
I'm going to try retweeting it again.
I've got Robin.
Robin, how are you?
I'm good. How are you? Hey, what does your shirt say today?
And don't call me Shirley.
And I don't know who sent it. Someone sent it to me, and I don't know who, because there was no card or anything else in the package. There's nothing else in the package. I should have.
Oh no.
I know, right?
Nothing else in the package.
Okay, did this thing retweet this time? Because let's see if I got it. Ah, there it is.
Yeah.
Okay, good. So it did. All right, that one worked because everyone was asking what the person with the beard and the flowing locks of hair looked like, and now we know. All right, so Robin, hang on a second, and we'll do this here in about
30 seconds.
30 seconds.
Okie dokie.
Cool. I mean, look at that.
It worries me to look at this.
Look at that.
I need to stop. It makes me feel bad. It makes me feel oogie.
I mean, seriously.
Mojo.
Okay, Shy Boy in Iowa. People believe everything and cannot figure out what is real and what is not. It's because of the effects of technology, TV, iPads, and phones being the babysitter and teacher instead of parenting. Okay, XDM, it's not a crisis of the gullible. It's the absence of independent thinking. Too many people on all sides take the word of their particular leader as gospel. Yes, there does seem to be a lot of that. All right, so, and I finally was able to retweet the tweet that I earlier tried to tweet that apparently did not want to retweet for some reason, the libs of TikTok. And this is, if you can see it, it says this is the person accusing Matt Walsh of giving them nightmares for him asking questions about defining what a woman is, which is what happened on Dr. Phil last week, I believe.
Yeah.
The question is, what is a woman? And then there was a bit of controversy immediately following that because Matt Walsh was having a debate with two non-binary people, and basically just about what a woman is. And in any other time, in any other universe, that seems like it would be a non-issue debate. What a woman is. But here we are in 2022. Sorry, I've got the new sound of 2022 because that's where we have landed fully with both feet. And for some reason, we have a tough time. I've decided that it was after discussing this with Robin, our resident transgender listener, that this would be a good topic to discuss on the air because as a transgender female. I hold on a second.
Don't call me Shirley.
Thank you. I just said it myself. And thank you again to whoever sent me the shirt. This has been an interesting period of time in the history of humans, I would say, mainly because I think the lines between everything have been blurred. Do you have and Robin, welcome to the program, as always.
Thank you. Whoops, hold on. I have a 78-pound boxer that just ran up and jumped in my lap. That doesn't work.
That could be a problem.
Anyway,
so
it could be.
All right. So you, and for those who are new to the program or are not familiar with Robin, when did you transition from male to female?
I came out in 2014, had my name legally changed then, and back then you had to have a year of what they call real life experience. So you had to live as a woman for a year before you could have surgery. So I had surgery just a couple of days before my birthday in 2015.
Wait, so you had to live as does that mean you had to cook and clean and
seriously,
dust?
You asked that question.
I not only that, but I had to make sandwiches and reconstructions.
Damn it.
I mean, seriously, I've got a whole list of jokes here. All right, so and you went ahead now. I don't know if you saw the Dr. Phil segment between Matt Walsh and the two non-binary people. Did you see any of it?
I on YouTube. Was it only about 4 minutes?
I think
or
so.
Was the whole thing longer? Okay, I had to watch it 2 or 3 times. It was confusing.
It was confusing, and it didn't have to be confusing. Here's can you define what a woman is, Robin?
Well, before I watched that show, I might have been able to.
But,
it used to be easy. It's hard. Okay, well.
You got the bell.
One bell. One ring.
But is it? Is it? Is a woman? Is it the definition of a woman? Would that not be somebody who? I know you live as a woman, but you don't have ovaries. Obviously, you don't have what's the other thing down there? The
uterus.
Uterus. Thank you. Sorry, all that stuff.
It's all missing. Well, I think that it depends upon whether you're talking about biological sex or gender, because I define the two differently, and so do many medical organizations like the AMA and the WHO and the American Psychological Association.
Mhm.
I mean, I realize they're left leaning, so especially the American Psychological Association, but they define gender apart from sex. So if I was defining woman as sex, she would have to be devoid of a Y chromosome, except for the rare XXY, which I don't know how common that is, but it's my understanding it's pretty rare.
Is that intersex or what used to be called
Yeah.
hermaphrodite?
I don't think. I think that if you have XXY, that you can still have all the right body parts for a woman, but you just have a Y chromosome. I think
It's an
I
anomaly.
don't know a lot
It's
about
rare,
that.
like you said. I mean, it's and in nature, there's always going to be the occasional rarity, obviously. Um,
Right.
I think the issue with these two, and I made the point I think on Friday, was that with somebody like this, and did you finally were able to see the guy with the beard and the long hair, and he's non-binary, so I don't know what he is. He's not a guy. He's
Yeah. Didn't he claim to be non-binary, transmasculine?
holy crap!
Well, wasn't that the whole
What the
thing?
hell is that? What the? Hold on, that's a new one on me.
I think. Well, I think that was the label that they put underneath the person, the woman kind of with the beard that would have been attractive without the beard.
right?
But I think they labeled her as non-binary, or well, I don't know what do you call a non-binary person a he or she?
That's yes.
I don't know.
See how
Yeah,
confusing
there you
it
go.
is? See how confusing this all is? This does not have to be this confusing, and I don't understand why we've made this I don't want to say unintelligible, but close. This is I'll play a little bit of the Dr. Phil. This is the Dr. Phil discussing this whole thing with Matt Walsh.
That's a question I would like to throw out to other members of the panel, actually, because just like the 4-year-old can't answer what is a girl. Well, this is one of the problems with this left-wing gender ideology, is that no one who espouses it can even tell you what these words mean. It's like, what is a woman?
Well-
Can you tell me what a woman is?
No, I can't. Because it's not for me to say. Womanhood looks different for everybody.
What do you define a woman as?
An adult human female.
And what does a female mean?
Well,
how
that's
do you define a female?
someone with female reproductive organs.
Okay.
Someone who's, here's the thing, when you're female, it goes right down to your bones, your DNA. So that's why if someone dies,
Okay.
we could dig up their bones 100 years from now. We have no idea what they believed in their head, but we can tell what sex they were because it's ingrained in every fiber of their being.
Interesting. So,
All right, so, and I thought Matt Walsh brought up a good point there, saying in a 100 years or 1,000 years or whatever, if you dig up a body, you can't tell what they were thinking, but you can tell by their DNA, what sex they were.
Right, absolutely. I mean, if you dig me up 100 years from now, you're going to say, "Oh, that was a male."
Mhm.
I mean, let's have my bones engraved with female or something.
Right,
Maybe that's next.
right. Have that's not a bad idea. You could have a titanium plaque bolted to one
I
of
have
your
a laser.
femurs.
I have a laser.
Ron could yes.
Hey, here, yeah.
Ron.
Well, what's your address, Ron?
Well, apparently a lot of people know it, so
So-
they come visit me.
Oh yeah, that's we haven't gotten into that yet. It's when you see things like this, does it? And I know you're not an activist, Robin, so to speak. I mean, you're not out there trying to make everybody else believe what you believe. You're kind of a live and let live, which is why we all fit in so well together here. Because I don't care what you do, and it's the as Matt Walsh called them, the activists who are trying to get me to believe that if you want to pretend you're a coffee table, you're a coffee table. That I don't have to necessarily buy into that, and that's what the activists out here are trying to ram down everybody's throat. which is why when we see, I know they write themselves. When we see the stories about like Leah Thomas, and she over the weekend won 2 more swim events. She is the trans swimmer competing on the University of University of Pennsylvania's women's swim team. Beat 2 more women over the weekend. Your take on the whole? I should finish that sentence. On Leah Thomas, you know, in again competing against biological females. Is it right? Is it wrong?
It's wrong. The only way I could see it that it gets weird because
Gets weird.
if I was to compete, well, okay, it is weird. If I was going to compete, and I've competed in motorcycle racing and bicycle racing and everything else, I would compete as a male, even though I live as a female, and I've had everything changed so that it says female.
Right.
But at the only way that I could see that you could do it and not have an unfair competitive advantage would be if you stopped puberty and then went on puberty blockers until you were 18 and then estrogen. But then you get into a whole other problem because you're kind of screwing up. I used to be fine with puberty blockers at an early age, and then I started reading more and more and more about it, and it seems like this is really going to screw people up in the future.
Well, and that's what
I don't want to get off track on that.
No. But actually, to that end, Jazz Jennings. How old is Jazz Jennings now? She's 21, somewhere in that vicinity.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I am
the
Jazz.
The one that gained
All the weight.
Yeah,
Yep.
the one that gained a bunch of it. Yeah.
100 pounds, because I think there are thoughts rattling around inside her young brain, because Jazz, prior to the transition, took puberty blockers, and then when she went to have the surgery, there wasn't enough material down there because of the puberty blockers to actually have the surgery. So, yeah,
Ooh.
if you know what I'm saying.
I
you're
was
right.
aware of that.
Yeah, and that obviously is a problem. So you're right. When you start getting into puberty blockers and that sort of thing, it kind of does it screws things up. But I guess the point here, and the reason that you and I discussed coming on the show, is the fact that not everybody's crazy who's transgender. And I use that term loosely because I think we're all crazy. I know I am, but they're not as rabid.
When I was a sniper in Special Forces, and I really was a sniper in Special Forces, I had to go through psychological evaluations periodically, and I was always considered sane. So, maybe I lost it. I don't know.
No, I don't think you lost it. I quite honestly, I don't know how effective those things are. I used to go through them when I was a basic training drill instructor too. Because look at me.
Well, you are crazy.
But I am crazy.
Yeah. We know drill instructors just aren't right.
That's right. We're not. Thank you. But and Robin, I mean, I know you made friends when you were in the Special Forces. I know you have, buddies, but how did they take it? How did that happen?
Honestly, I thought they would completely freak out, and to a man, literally a man, every one of them is just like, oh, okay. They didn't care at all.
It's because you, number one, probably didn't try to push it on them, but number two, at the same time, you didn't try to make them believe that was the right thing for them to do also. I mean, look, nobody cares. You're still, in your mind, you're still, whatever your name was prior to Robin, but at that point in time, you're still my friend, right?
Yeah. This is a really funny story. You'll get a kick out of this. people in special forces are kind of unusual brain-wise. Kind of like Dave.
Uh-huh.
And I ran into one of our SF medics that I knew that I'd been on a team with that had no idea that I'd transitioned. And I saw him at Fort Campbell. I rolled up. I'm a paraplegic also. I rolled up next to him and I said, "Hey, Keith," and he looked at me and he went, and his eyes suddenly lit up and he went, "Bob?" I said, "Not anymore." And he got he got this look in his eyes, and his wife was with him, and his wife just rolled her head back like, "Oh no!" And he looks at me and he said, "So have you had surgery?" And I said, "Yeah." And at that time I hadn't. And he said, "Well, after you do, can I see it?"
That is a special forces response right there. Yes.
Yeah, it was great.
I would have done the same thing. I would have been
Actually,
like,
I think I may have too.
Just out of curiosity,
Yeah.
can I see
Can
it?
I see it? Well, I've asked that question of Ron before about
He has, yeah.
Caitlyn Jenner. I said,
Caitlyn
"Would you
Jenner.
look?" And
Yeah. What the
I said,
hell?
"Well, hell yes, I'd look. Why wouldn't you look?" Attack Yuki on the Twitter here. Sex is what happens between your legs. Gender is what happens between your ears. We need to stop conflating these two concepts. Is it? I mean, is
Yeah,
gender
that's a good
different
way to
than
put it.
sex? I mean,
Yeah.
I've
because-
never learned that. I mean, growing up, I never learned that gender was different than sex. I mean, you had, as far as I know, two genders, male and female. Things were either feminine or masculine.
Yes. Well, in some languages, like I was trained in Russian, and we have a neutral gender as well, which I don't see people as neutral, but I don't know. Maybe a nail can be a screwdriver or a screw. I don't know.
Actually, do you want to hear something funny? There is something called a screw nail, which years ago I didn't
Really?
realize. Yeah, I know. I didn't know it either. And being in the home improvement industry, you think I would. I was actually working on a show. Cindy Pickley was the host. And Cindy, beautiful woman. And it was always kind of, though, here, make sure you give Cindy the right end of the hammer to hold, because otherwise she'll, and Cindy, if you're listening, I love you. So we were doing one project that I was kind of prepping her on. I said, now here's we're going to use these little nails, whatever. She said, now, is that a screw nail? And I'm like, oh, Cindy, you're so pretty. And it turns out, I went later and looked at, son of a bitch, she was right. See, God is a comedian, playing to an audience who's afraid to laugh. I forget where we were going with that, but it doesn't really matter because we're almost out of time.
Gender. Yeah, it was gender versus sex.
That's right.
Gender is it's the way the brain functions. It's in the brain. That's the way I see it. Now, other people may see it differently. Some people may see it as not existing apart from sex. Like I have the gun shop that I hang around with, that I work in a little bit occasionally. One of the guys, well, if he sometimes he'll refer to me as sir. And I asked him one time, I said, why do you do that? Or do you hate me? And he said, no, it's against my religious beliefs to refer to you as she. And I'm like, oh, okay. So
Wait
he
a
calls
minute.
me Robin, or
You didn't look at it and say, it's ma'am. Remember the
oh yeah, I should have, but I
the
didn't.
game stopped.
The joke was like,
Oof.
yeah, I should have, but he's a nice guy. He refers to me as Robin. We get along great. Just every once in a while he calls me sir, and so whatever.
To each his own.
It used to be. Yeah, I mean, I never got in anybody's face about it, but it used to upset me, and now I'm like, yeah, whatever.
Right. If more people would realize that, whatever, and not get so pissed off at everything, it might be. We might have fewer people dying on Peloton bikes.
Exactly. There would be a lot less arguments. No, a lot less angst, I guess, going around. But
a lot less macaque monkeys running around.
Exactly. There are a lot fewer people like Robin out there who just don't, look, I don't give a shit. This is my life. You worry about your life. I'll worry about mine. Right. But there aren't people.
Right.
People got to got to try to move you into their world and enforce you into,
Right.
all your belief. It's just crazy.
Do what you want. I'm cool with it. Just don't try to tell me what I got to do too, and we'll all get along. I think that's the moral of the story.
Like the more than one gender thing. It used to be that you had girls and boys, and then you had some girls that wanted to play football. They were tomboys. You had some guys that wanted to, and you had some guys that were, kind of sissies or whatever, but they were still boys and girls.
Yeah.
And to me, that makes sense. And I think to most people that makes sense. But when you get into things like non-binary, just completely confuses me. And when you get into Z and Zer and the other 300 genders, and I'm lost.
It's crazy. Well, the interesting thing is when you're younger, boys will be boys. The sissies, it's like, don't be a sissy. The older I've gotten, it's the sissies that I feel like I want to protect. I see somebody picking on a sissy and I want to go over and stand up for him. That's a weird thing. Maybe it's just getting older. Maybe it's growing up. Maybe it's being mature. Well, I'm not mature, so that can't be it. But Ron, do you know what I'm saying? If I see somebody picking on what you consider to be a sissy, I'd want to go defend them.
Always.
You're just saying that to agree with me.
It's a bully thing. It really is.
You're just saying that to agree with me. You're just trying to be like me.
I am.
Admit
That's
it.
what it is, Brad.
All right, Robin, as usual, thank you. Thank you. You got up early to be on the program, didn't you? Don't you usually sleep in?
I did. I actually, I try to catch your program live, and lately I don't know, the first of the year something weird happened, and I'm just not waking up. But yeah, I got up early, set my alarm. I actually woke up before the alarm, and
see, magical things
sitting
happen.
Here playing with a dog. Yeah, weird.
Wait, hold on. Is that a euphemism? Or you're playing with the dog?
Oh, I'm literally scratching the dog's ear.
All right,
here.
Just checking. Just checking. All right, Robin, thank you as always. Appreciate it. Have a great rest of the day, and we'll talk to you soon.
Bye, Robin.
You too. Bye-bye.
I mean, imagine having that conversation 3-4 years ago.
Yeah.
Just different. Attack Yuki, I identify as a cactus. Don't touch me. Don't worry about my water intake. I'm fine. Wade Robertson, speaking of trans, I had no idea Buck Angel was such a cool person. He was on Elijah Schaefer's show the other day. I don't know who Buck Angel is, but I'm guessing it's somebody's trans. Metal Mississippi, I really love to cook. Does that make me a pansexual? Possibly. Sarah says, please follow at Robin PO29. Robin, why do you have so many numbers in your Twitter handle? She is amazing. And so we do have to sit in the hospital a few days, but in the meantime, his beard's growing out. I'll just leave that one there. Make sure you go to mypillow.com because, well, they sell pillows. Not only do they sell pillows, but they sell amazing slippers. Don't conflate the two. Also, I got a one of the Roll and Go pillows finally for Christmas this year, and which seems like it happened eight months ago. Now this year, I swear, 24 days into January, does it not feel like we've already been in 2022 for like 8 months? Or is it just me? Maybe it's just me. Maybe it's the drugs.
I don't know, dude. Things are going by too fast for me. Yes.
Maybe it's the steroids. They still have me on, what is it? Budesonide, which is a cortical steroid, which I'm not sure, but I think it's made things grow. What?
What? What do you mean?
I was talking about my hair.
Oh,
my hair's just growing.
You're letting your hair grow out? Are you?
Well, it is because I have that weird growth on the side of my head, so I'm just trying to disguise it. But the Roll and Go pillows are fabulous. You can get those at mypillow.com. Use the promo code MOJO50, and you will get an incredible discount on all of the products once you click on radio listener specials. But again, if you if you think Mike Lindell's out there doing Patriots work, and he still is, he's still putting his money behind several people and himself out there trying to spread the word. I don't know. At this point, is it trying to close the barn door after the horses have run out or after the monkeys have escaped?
That's a good question.
With
It
the-
actually is.
But
'cause
do you just the alternative is just to let it go and say, all
you
right,
can't-
well,
but you can't.
F it.
I mean, if your conscience is as strong as his is,
Right.
apparently, you cannot just let it go.
Right. That's kind of the way I feel. I'm glad there are people like Mike Lindell out there doing that because somebody has to do it, and I'm too damn lazy. This is the extent of my activism.
And I started to say, would you have let it go by now? Probably. Me too.
Well, I don't have the money to do it.
Correct.
I mean, I have the time to do this. I don't have the money to do that. So this is where I lay stake, or I stake my claim, or I do whatever it is I'd be doing. But Mike Lindell's still putting millions of dollars behind a very strong belief that the 2020 election was stolen, and that that things have to be changed.
Yeah.
Which, again, if you believe he is a patriot, if you believe that he's doing the right thing, mypillow.com, click on radio listener specials, and use promo code Mojo50. The problem is right now, and end of commercial, I still think that they could find a way to continue to cheat. And don't get me wrong, I believe that it's not just Democrats who cheat, although I think that they did have the upper hand in this one, in the 2020 election. I think the Republican Party is not above cheating either. I mean, hell, would it surprise you if
they all do it.
right?
They all do
It's
it.
the uniparty. It is the ruling class versus us.
But for the majority of people out there, Brad, correct me if I'm wrong, but if your party cheats, then it's okay.
Sure, because you're doing it for the good of humanity.
Correct.
I mean, we had to get rid of Donald Trump.
Correct.
We had to. He was a racist, homophobic, pedophile, you name it. He was everything bad in humanity, according to those who hated him. And he was equally hated across both sides of the aisle, which to me meant he's doing something right in Washington. They all hate him. They don't like outsiders in Washington, which is, if anything, he is an outsider, or for the most part. I mean, he had his connections, but they cheat. Politicians cheat. They lie, which is why nobody likes politicians, except crazy people. Sorry, my apologies to crazy people. But people have to continue to fight this fight. Otherwise, we are going to end up falling right back into the same trap, come 2024. And the dude, who was the dude on TikTok, or was it Twitter, the gay guy that the
Conservative ant.
yeah, him, who was like, I've got it. That's how they're going to cheat in the upcoming.
Yeah.
It's the Vax card. Would you be surprised if coming up in either this election or in 2 years that they're going to say, all right, you got to be vaccinated to vote? Because otherwise, you're just bringing too much of a health liability to the, you can't let you in here. Can't let you in here do that.
Are you asking me if that would surprise me?
Yeah.
No, it would not.
Me either. That may not happen, but they'll find a way. And that would not surprise me if they found that to be the way. They lie, they cheat, they steal. They're politicians. They inhabit Washington. I'm not bitter. More of your Daily Mojo is coming up momentarily.
Do you see that I sent you
What did you send me and where did you send it?
on your phone? I don't think I knew that.
That I have a secret thing for you. Let's see, what's this? Hold on a second. I have to push a button. And then it pops up. And yes. Oh, yeah.
I did not.
I knew that. You need to pay better attention.
Probably.
Good grief. But we need more advertising. Something. What did you say? Right where? I have to push a button.
I'm hearing that audio noise, whatever that is.
Where?
Whatever you've got volume turned up on, I can hear it.
I don't have volume turned up on anything. What are you talking about?
No, you've got something coming through
I don't have
that I can hear noise on.
Oh,
Yeah, that.
that. Yes, that would be the Mac.
The Mini.
Yes.
Okay.
I don't know why. But no, it's not the Mac Mini because,
Oh.
well, it is, but it isn't because. All right, wait a second. Is it the?
I didn't mean to throw you into a tailspin there, Brandon.
I get so confused that I don't know where. It's not noise coming out of the Mac Mini because I've listened with headphones coming directly out of the Mac Mini and there's no noise.
Oh no, that wouldn't do it. The headphones wouldn't do it. It's because the headphones aren't powered like your mixer is.
Right. It's the preamp.
No, I'm telling you, it's not. I'm telling you, it's the Mac Mini. I've had that problem on mine too.
How could there not be noise coming out of it, but there's noise coming out of it coming out
There
of it?
is noise coming out of it. You won't be able to hear it in headphones because they're not powered.
Huh?
Because you're bringing the sound from that Mac Mini into a powered mixer, and the powered mixer is what's the word I'm looking for?
Adding noise?
It's not adding noise. It's amplifying the noise, and your headphones won't do that. Your headphones aren't amplifiers.
You're talking in code, aren't you?
I'm not talking.
You are. I think
in
you're
code.
talking
I'm
in code.
seriously
You're trying
not.
to confuse me.
No,
I'm easily confused.
you won't hear the noise if you listen in headphones. You're only hearing it because both pieces of equipment are powered that are plugged into either end of that cable. But your headphones aren't powered when they're plugged into the other end of the cable.
Why are you trying to be so hurtful?
I'm not. I'm just telling you.
So how do I fix it?
We need the cable that we plug in needs to have one of those filters in it.
Alan says top-notch technical work this morning, gentlemen.
Yep.
You're welcome. And he says my Windows computer isn't giving me any trouble. I can suggest a good computer for you both. It's really funny, Alan. Really funny.
Dude, PCs are the worst,
Yes, they are.
especially with built-in.
They try to be everything to everybody, and you can't be.
If you try to use the built-in audio
Stuff.
it sucks. Yeah,
You even match the font on your little @Real Ron Phillips up there. on your
I
screen.
tried.
See,
I
I know
didn't
you
like
just
the
want to
fact
be.
that you left me out.
You want to be like me.
I do every day. The nights who say knee. Real Ron Phillips mansplaining to Real Brad Staggs over the commercial break is something to hear.
Packum, parabellum.
If we weren't so bad,
To puppy rape. I like to cuss. Do I want to keep my penis? Cat wants some black titty.
we wouldn't be so good. Mojo 50.
The mothership has landed.
Yeah, I just noticed the top of the hour ID and do I want to keep my penis has new meaning. Just saying.
Oh, yeah.
The Knights Who Say Knee, Real Ron Phillips mansplaining to Real Brad Staggs over the commercial break is something to hear. I know, right? What does he think, that I'm a woman? I can understand stuff.
But you kept saying you're talking gobbledygook.
You were talking gobbledygook. You can't. There's no noise coming
That's
out
why
of the computer.
men
But when you
mansplain.
put it into something else that's powered, it's gonna.
It's the
What,
look on
make
the
what
woman's
noise?
face. That's what it is. It's the
like
look on their face.
It's like a dog staring at a ceiling fan.
Yeah.
Right.
And their head goes back and forth like this.
Exactly. Exactly. Hold on. I've got some more. I've got really good. Where'd they all go? Where'd all the women jokes go? Son of a, I did. I had like a bunch of them here. Wait a second. Where is it that one? Oh, here we go. Yeah. Did you hear about the woman who couldn't find a singing partner?
No.
She had to buy a do-it-yourself kit. Get it? A do-it.
Yeah, I get it. It was a sad joke.
Let's see here. What do you call a letter from a feminist? Hate mail. M-A-L-E. Hate mail. Get it? What do you call a woman who
I hope
always
the
knows?
censor on Facebook or YouTube that's listening to this.
What do you call a woman who always
male.
knows where her husband is?
I don't know.
The widow. You're welcome.
Wow.
See,
Wow.
here's. All right, let's listen to Joe Biden, because that's the alternative to feminist Joe.
They're the people they look to, or you.
But I should set this up. This is the President of the United States addressing the nation's mayors during the United States Conference of Mayors winter meeting. This was over the weekend. It's on Friday, technically. The United States Conference of Mayors. It's the president discussing and pretty much pandering to the mayors of the United States.
Are you? They're the people they look to, or you.
You.
For real.
For real.
You know, there's no way to walk into the corner drugstore without being accosted immediately as to what's going on, right? Well, so you know what it means to solve real problems, to be held accountable for the people you serve.
Mm-hmm.
That's why when I put together my cabinet, I called on former mayors.
Former mayors. No joke. No joke. Now listen to how he pronounces some of his former mayors that are now in his cabinet.
I mean this sincerely. Take a look. Don Vilsack was a governor. He was also a mayor. Marcia Fudge, a mayor. Marty Walsh, a mayor in Boston. Pete Buttigieg is a mayor.
Wait, Pete who?
Pete
what?
Jeez, what the hell?
Pete, okay, one more time.
Fudge, a mayor. Marty Walsh, a mayor in Boston. Pete Buttigieg is a mayor.
He couldn't say it.
You know, the gay one. That one. What?
And I picked Mitch Landrieu to oversee the implementation of the infrastructure law, which is over $200 million, because he knows how mayors get things done.
Wow, see, he did the creepy. You got a twofer there. You got the bridge, and you got he leans in, and he does that thing where he spreads his lips back across his teeth so he looks like a skull. Because mayors know how to get things done. Go ahead. Make my day.
He looks like Fire Marshal Bill.
He does. He does. That's exactly right. You hit that. Why does he? I know why he does it. He does it because he thinks, and someone along the road, probably 30 years ago, said, "You know what? Really is effective when you lean down, and you whisper, you're getting intimate with them." And that's all he remembers. He doesn't remember the people in the past, probably year or so saying, "You know, sir, when you do that, you look creepy." No, it's effective. I had, who was it? Ted Kennedy told me that. Where is Ted these days? Still dead, sir. Still dead. But
no, I mean it. Not a joke.
I didn't know he was going to say that, but I knew he was going to say it because he says it every other word.
Not a joke.
Not a joke.
Because mayors know the measure of success isn't scoring partisan points. It's did you fix the problem? Seriously, think about it.
Seriously.
Did you fix the problem?
Did you fix
Infrastructure law is a perfect example of what we can achieve when we tackle problems the way mayors do. Everybody in America.
Like Marion Barry, for instance.
Wow.
What? I mean, nobody fixed a problem better than Marion Barry did.
Everybody in America knows we've fallen behind in infrastructure. So we came together, Democrats and Republicans, and did something about it.
We bankrupted the United States of America. And we did it in a bipartisan manner. We were able, Republicans and Democrats, to come together to actually put this country out of business. It was amazing how well we all worked together to do it. When you have a common goal, it's amazing how fast you can get there. It's just, what in the hell is this guy? I mean, and he keeps repeating the same crap over and over, and he says it right in your face too. And it's the get your booster shot. Did you see his tweet? The get your booster shot, which is the new big thing now because Anthony Fauci was on TV over the weekend saying basically that's what we're going to have to do. He's got a boot, but I'll get to that in a second. You got the president there, get a booster shot, and you've got him tweeting things like, the country is in the best shape it's ever been. Let me see if I can find the tweet here real quick. Because he's talking about how the child poverty is down, and again, you can say all these things. You can throw out statistics left and right. Unemployment's down. The average American wage is way. How the hell do you verify any of this crap anymore? They just throw stuff out there, and they just do it. They'll see what most people will believe. And politicians have been doing that forever. Take, for instance, and we go back a few decades for this one here on the Daily Mojo. Yes, it's the Army Stars.
Happy days are here again. The skies above are clear again. Let us sing a song of cheer again. Happy days are here again.
When did that song come out?
Oh shit!
Stab at it. Before or after the Great Depression?
After.
And that's what most people think. It's like, oh, that was a song they all used after the Great Depression
to get their spirits back up.
No, this song came out in 1929, 1930.
Really?
Yes. It basically propaganda. It was used, I think, was it Roosevelt who I think it was Roosevelt who used it, started using it as a campaign song. Yeah, it's 1932. Roosevelt, according to Time magazine, gained prominence after a spontaneous decision by Roosevelt's advisors to play it at the 1932 Democratic National Convention. So it became used as propaganda. Hey, things are great. What do you mean depression? There's a depression. Things are great. Let's go on, everybody. Keep singing. Right, it's fabulous. Right.
So let's tell the world about it now. Happy days are here again.
What do you mean you got no food? Shut up. You got food. There's plenty of food. Look at dust as food. But they've always, politicians have always tried to make people believe what they want them to believe. They just lie. They lied back then. That was almost, 100 years ago.
Yeah.
They just lie. By the way, what was Roosevelt? He was using before this song. He was using "Anchors Aweigh." Anchors aweigh. Is that?
That's the Navy.
I was going to say it's the Navy, but I guess the version was like a dirge. They're like, can you please play something that is not so dirgy? I know. Here's an idea. We'll do this. Happy days are here again. People will believe it. We'll make $1 million. And they kind of did. So that's when Biden comes out and he's like, what? Unemployment's down. People got a raise last year. Everything is fabulous. Are you kidding? Did I overpromise? Hell no, I'm overperforming. They've always done it. And there's enough people out there who will believe it, like
who will believe it or push the lie.
The guy that I retweeted this morning who said
he has outperformed any expectations.
Yeah,
seriously.
Hawk Rapids was the guy that was replying to some of those naysayers who were dissing the POTUS on his tweet, and he says. The unemployment numbers that I cited are the official numbers, no matter how you'd like to explain them away. Lower unemployment numbers make it easier to get jobs, and GDP growth is a sign of economic expansion. Poverty, as I said, is still lower due to the tax credit. Wow. Don't stop. He's almost there, Hawk Rapids. Keep going a little faster. I mean, how do they even get sucked into this whirlpool of stupid? Keep swimming. And look around. The things really, when Biden said, wasn't it last week? Oh yeah, store shelves are only 10% less stocked than they were before the pandemic. 10%, really? When was the last time Joe Biden walked into Kroger? or any other supermarket for that matter. I mean, not that Dr. Jill's going to go do it for him, because after all, doctor. But when was the last time remember George H.W. Bush when he was asked about how much a gallon of milk was? He had no effing clue because he hadn't been in a store in God knows how long. They don't do what we, the unwashed masses out here on the ground, do. They have peeps for that. Now, don't get me wrong. I mean, Ron and I, we have people to take care of.
We have peeps.
We don't even have to wipe our own butts. Mm-hmm.
That is,
what?
I started to say that's not the case.
You going to deny you have a personal butt wiper? Don't
well,
deny. Don't lie. God hates lie. God hates.
I have
liars.
a bidet.
I rest my case. But this is what this guy is as clueless. I mean, they're all clueless, quite frankly. But when you start talking about clueless, there's Joe Biden.
Daily vaccination rates. She's also dedicated to getting her customers and employees vaccinated, that when they leave the saloon, the receptionist, the salon,
close.
They may be going to a saloon, I don't know. I caught part of President Putin's press conference, and he talked about the need for us to be able to have some kind of modus operandi where we dealt with making sure the Arctic was, in fact, a free zone.
Is a Taliban takeover of Afghanistan now inevitable?
No, it is not. Because you have the Afghan troops have 300,000 well-equipped, as well equipped as any army in the world, and an air force, against something like 75,000 Taliban. It is not inevitable.
No, it's not inevitable. That's one of my favorites.
It just took less than 15 hours to do it.
That's one of my personal favorites, is the whole Afghanistan thing. This guy's got blood on his hands, and they were able to absolutely throw that one under the rug. And now the Ukraine, you see where the government has said, yeah, for any Americans in the Ukraine right now, we can't get you out. You better get out, but we can't get you out. Good luck. Good luck in the industry. Bye-bye. See ya. You think Putin's going to invade?
I don't know. He's dangling that carrot.
Wow.
He is. He's dangling the carrot. I mean, he's pushing the buttons to see how far he can push it, I think, right now. He's already got NATO pissed off at him.
And you've got to, if you are the Ukraine at this point, and the people in the people in charge there, aren't you sitting back and go, what the hell? Didn't we give the Biden family like $1 gazillion?
Probably.
Aren't they? Shouldn't they at least act like they're gonna? I mean, what are we getting for our money? I think they got ripped off, is what they got, personally. But that's just me.
Could it be that Putin's doing this to prove a fact?
What, that Biden's a giant pussy? I mean,
well, that
could be.
Bring other things to the forefront that we don't know about yet.
Do you know a secret?
I don't.
All right, but you're right.
I'm just asking.
It could be anything. It could be anything. It could. While we're discussing this, how are things at Romika?
Things are great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have a laser.
I do it. And so working on the site, I added all of our inspiration catalogs up there, idea catalogs. So if you go to the top menu up there now, it says idea catalogs. And these are, you can actually order from these catalogs, but these are catalogs that we get from our distributors that you can use for ideas to help you when you're trying to plan a gift or something.
So if you cannot...
You understand what I'm saying?
Not yet, but I'm working on it. I'm going to get there.
Okay.
So these are all right. So you can go, and you should have made this a service. You should have had a Genius. You should have the Genius phone line.
Yep.
And then they call for 99 cents a minute. They can talk to your Genius about ideas. And meanwhile, you're at your Genius just back here going through the catalog. Going, hey, how about
Yeah. So if you click on any one of those catalogs, it takes you to a website where any of the stuff that's in this website that you see, that's all, I mean, I've got it embedded in ours. We can do, we can get, we can do, we can build, we can whatever. So these are ideas, and you can order just by, doing an inquiry at the top of the page about a product number that you see here, and let us know.
So they could actually, and they'll be in touch with a real human being in the form of you.
That's correct. Yeah.
Or Misty.
Yes.
See, if you're lucky, you get Misty. If you're having a bad day, you
A
get
lot of
Rob.
times they don't know who they're talking to.
Right.
Because they'll usually chat through Facebook or something. And so sometimes they think they're chatting with me, but they're talking to Misty and vice versa.
If you end up with an intelligent conversation,
it's usually with
it's
Misty.
probably Misty.
Yeah.
If you get a lot of
I would say
I don't
9
know.
out of 10 conversations are with Misty. Yeah.
Okay. At least you're honest. That's a good thing.
Yeah.
So if you have a posse, again, if you have a group of folks, if you have an office, if you have a team, and you are doing, let's say, some team building exercise, and you want to give away a great prize, because people, the second thing, and Amway was fabulous at this.
Big time. Yeah.
Right after money, after monetary consideration, the second thing that people want most is recognition.
Yep.
And you'd be amazed how far, like a plaque or a one of those swirly glass things with their name inscribed, and not just written. Don't resist the urge to just take a Sharpie and a Post-it.
Yeah.
And write their name on it and stick it to the thing. You can stick it to them later, but go ahead and go with Romika, because they can actually use the laser beam to. I mean, it's like permanent. Their name will be on this permanent, like forever.
Yeah, because we can engrave acrylic awards. We can engrave crystal awards. We can engrave the plaque awards with
Wood.
the metal plaques.
Wood. Can you engrave wood?
Anything, yeah.
Can you engrave this?
Yes.
Really? Will it hurt?
It might sting a little.
It might sting. You're going to feel a little prick. No, I say that to you, don't I? Or
Yes,
who says
that's right.
just
I told you
before?
I put my hand under the beam the other
Right.
day,
Yeah.
accidentally. Fortunately, it was out of focus and it didn't hurt me. But
Fortunately, it was just your hand.
yeah,
I mean, imagine if something
scared the hell out of me.
I'll bet it did. I'll bet it did. So it's RomikaDesigns.com. Keep your hand away from the laser. In Maine, speaking of that, thank you for bringing this to my attention earlier. Good Samaritan saved the life of a screaming man. They found carrying his own arm after he severed it with a bandsaw.
Is that what he did? Was severed it with a bandsaw?
Apparently.
His arm all the way up to the shoulder, right?
He was stumbling down the street carrying his arm. This was Friday morning.
He had to have fallen into it. It's not like you can accidentally cut your whole arm off.
I was
on
going
a
to say,
bandsaw.
that is, I don't even know how I'm trying to think if you're using the saw.
The saw was on. He was on a ladder.
Right.
Maybe his wife pushed him off the ladder.
Goat
and he
came
tripped
through
fell.
and tripped. Yeah.
A
something.
goat. Yeah, something.
Because something is not, just doesn't. So it was cut off near the shoulder by a bandsaw whose blade is, they're explaining how the bandsaw works. Thank you. He worked at the AK Market store in Lewiston, that's in Maine. After the public works guys saw him carrying his arm down the street, cops got there. They followed the trail of blood from Maple Street back to the business, where several people said the man had been operating a bandsaw. All right, my question: what were the several people that were still at the business? Did they
They're
just
like,
run
where's
out?
Bob going? What's he carrying?
All right,
I don't know where he's going.
good
Maybe
luck,
he's going
Bob.
home for a minute. All right,
what
Bob, we'll see you in a bit.
What the hell? And it's not like he didn't leave a big mess.
They didn't want to be involved, dude.
Apparently so.
What's he
Look,
carrying? Don't look at
I
him.
don't
Don't
want
look
us
at
to-
Bob.
don't
He's
look-
literally let
him
you go.
or the fucking macaques. Don't look at any of them. Don't look at any of this stuff. Beyond describing the gory amputation as a workplace incident, Lieutenant Derek St. Laurent said the police, they are not identifying the man at this point, but that he is expected to survive. Oh, sure.
Barely.
Easy for you to say.
Yeah, but who did he run into? I told you this morning. He ran into some guys that were cutting trees, some
Right.
arborists, and they all happened to have been trained on placing tourniquets.
Right. The dude was lucky.
He was lucky.
Extremely lucky.
Because if he had stayed at the business, they would have all looked at him like he was a dumbass.
Right.
Bob, why you cut your arm off?
Why are you just standing
We don't know how to help you.
Maybe
if you walk down the street, somebody can help you.
Bob knew more than we did. The CEO of Pfizer, or the survivor, has attacked people who choose to question his experimental jab. He's calling them criminals who profit from circulating misinformation. He was being interviewed in Israel. Albert Bourla warned it was not a good scenario if people were to get boosters every 4 to 5 months. What I'm hoping is that we have a vaccine you can do once a year. That is their goal. Once a year, you get the jab, you get the update, you get the booster because, it's worked so well.
What about the next booster shot? For a substantial part of the population, they're now moving into the 5th month of their booster. So does it lose its effectiveness, and how soon should they get another one, if that's your advice?
Well, what I'd say is you got to go out there and... sorry, it's not really him. He's his answer.
Well, the answer, Margaret, honestly, is that we don't know, because we don't know the durability of protection from the 3rd shot boost of an mRNA and the 2nd shot boost of a J&J.
Wow, he actually said we don't know. Son of a bitch.
Yeah.
Yeah, he told the truth.
Well, the fact that he doesn't know won't change a thing.
No. It's...
Certainly you are going to see the antibody levels go down. That's natural. But there's an element of the immune response.
How many times have you used that excuse? Just go down. It's natural. Right, Ron?
I've never used that excuse.
Come on,
Brad.
it's natural.
Never.
Natural. I think George Michael said it too.
B-cell memory and T-cell responses, where even though you do see a diminution of antibody levels, it is quite conceivable, and I hope it's true, that the 3rd shot boost will give a much greater durability of protection. We're following that very carefully. And when I say protection, Martha, I mean protection against severe disease. You are going to see breakthrough infections, as we've seen now, even in boosted people. But for the very most part, they're mild or even asymptomatic. That's where we would like to be, is to have that where you don't have to get more and more always every 6 months with a booster. We may need to boost again. That's entirely conceivable.
Wow, that was a best line of
bullshit
I've ever heard. He just makes shit up as he goes, doesn't he? He just makes it up. He says words. He is vague, and he says it with conviction. And that's why we pay this man more than anyone else in the federal government, to the tune of $437,000 and change. That doesn't include what? His bonuses and stock options.
I guarantee he makes $1 million a year.
He's worth around 10, according to his financial disclosures, which are finally available thanks to which senator was it? Kudos to him for actually getting the information out. Don and Donna behind the barn. We'll do that next on your Daily Mojo.
A free exchange.
Clear. Look at your phone. I had those sent to you. They'll be there tomorrow.
I'm getting new breasts?
Yeah. Yeah. Not that they will help, but we'll try those first.
I'm getting nudicles?
No.
What is today?
They're ferrite magnets.
You're ferrite. Where the hell is it? Today is the... Why did I do that? Oh. Is that what's in those round thingies?
Yep. That's
all that's ever been in those round thingies?
Yep.
Are you serious?
Yep. Ferrite. That's what those are for. So we'll try a 1 or 2 of those on that cable.
All right.
And basically, you just loop it around the cable and clip it.
Well, yeah, because I've seen, in the past.
Yeah.
I just never knew that. Hang on a second. All right. Don't laugh. Don't you? No, don't laugh. Don't. I said don't laugh. It's not funny. And you know it's not funny. You know it. You know it's not funny. Does it say Pepperidge Farm? Pepperidge Farms also remember. You remember when the asymptomatic infections were the ones who were... Yes! Yeah, you're right. That's a great point. They throw so much shit at us. It's.
Yep.
The Daily Mojo.
You are so right. Knights who say nee on the Twitters. Do you remember when the asymptomatic infections were the ones who were going to kill everyone on the planet? Now that's what we're hoping for. That's exactly right. Remember, it was, you could have it and not know. You'd be walking around spreading the
Murderer.
smeg. Killer, you're killing Grandpa. And, he's half dead anyway. But that's exactly right. And again, if you have the smeg, whether or not you are vaccinated, you could still be out there slinging smeg. That's the... Richmond Joe, why isn't anybody asking Lord Fauci about how come they don't know if a third booster will do what it's purported to do? Did they give up the idea of doing trials, or are they just using the general public as guinea pigs? Yes. No, we know they gave up trials. That's a matter of public record that they, wasn't it 2 or 3 weeks into the blind group or the placebo group, that they basically said, oh, well, it's too important that we get everybody vaccinated. We got to give these people the real thing. Oblivion Flickering, sir, I told you to put your arm down and your hands up.
Yeah.
That's funny. I don't care who you are. I'm not funny to the guy who lost his arm, but, well, the rest of us. All right, in our never-ending effort to piggyback on the success of others, Ron, as you know we do all the time.
Absolutely we do.
Because, I'm not proud. Hey, I'll grab any coattails I can get. Don Newen and Donna Fiducia from Cowboy Logic Radio, which is, of course, heard each week here on Mojo 50. When?
That's at noon on Tuesdays and 11 p.m. on Tuesdays.
Exactly, which is, of course, tomorrow. Donna, you both look fabulous.
Thanks, Brad. We feel fabulous.
After we are getting over some skeevy stuff too,
Well,
but I don't think it was COVID.
You don't? Okay, so you just got
cold.
over a sickness. So you don't think it was COVID? What do you? I mean, was it the flu? What was it?
I think
It was like a head cold.
I mean, I used to get this when I was a kid all the time. You get this head cold, it goes down your chest, you cough for 2 months.
Then you
That's
talk
what Don's
sexy.
doing.
Right.
That's
Yeah.
See, listen to Don's voice. He really does sound
That's
sexy.
right.
It does. It does.
Very white.
I completely agree. I'm almost forgotten about Ron at this point.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
That's right. That's right.
So speaking of sicknesses, Dr. Fauci over the weekend, St. Fauci, he said, I believe his words were, it's entirely conceivable that we could be looking at yet another booster. I mean, I know that comes as a big shock.
I'm sure he's saying that.
Lucy and the football.
He's going to say that until someday that there's a perp walk that involves him and they take him away and lock him up for the heinous crimes against humanity. He's going to preach more and more vaccinations. That's all this guy's ever tried to do in his failed 6-decade career.
Well, that's all they make their money on is the CDC makes its money on vaccines. Moderna was on its deathbed until it finally got this vaccine. It never had one before. Fauci saved it. You know, Fauci's wife is the top bioethicist at the National Institute.
You said
of
that
Health.
well, Donna.
Yeah,
I was reading it. That's why.
It's amazing. I mean, the fact that those two are basically, he's her boss, isn't he?
Well, I guess it's part. And then his daughter is a fact checker at Twitter.
Oh, my, I had no idea about that one. Are you kidding?
Yeah. Oh, no, this is all a family affair.
This is
his daughter's
amazing.
a fact checker on Twitter. She's like, 22 years old. It's stupid.
Wow.
I don't know if she's that young, but she's not a doctor. So how can these non-doctors tell doctors like Dr. Lee Merritt, who we have on our show this week, that, we think you should stop prescribing ivermectin and hydroxychloroquine or we're going to yank your license. This is unbelievable.
It is like a bad science fiction movie that we're all living through. It really is.
Yeah,
this is the craziest stuff. And when does it end? I mean, does it end when, well, I think over the weekend as well, there were a couple of rallies in D.C. where Dr. Malone was speaking about essentially don't comply. Stop doing what
and
these
Robert
clowns.
F. Kennedy Jr.
Was he? Okay,
Yep.
he was there too. So I mean, is that when this starts to go away? Is when we all just start giving them the finger and tell them to go F themselves? And I mean, when is that the only way to make this insanity stop?
Oh, I think it's already starting to go away. You're seeing this all over the globe, in which people are fed up with the tyranny, fed up with the government boot on their neck, fed up with being told how to manage the health of their life. This is on its way out. Now, here's the only thing that you got to be ready for, Brad, and that is that I liken all these pukes to rabid animals. And when a rabid animal becomes desperate, they start making big mistakes.
True.
And I've been saying this for about 6 months, that the mistakes are going to start happening. We're seeing them. We're definitely seeing them make mistakes. And the thing is, all you got to do is be patient and be ready. Now, I'm not advocating shooting anybody, but when you've got a rabid animal like on our property that starts trotting out into the pastures, all you got to do is wait for them to make stupid mistakes. They line up in the crosshairs, and boom, they're gone.
Right. Yeah, foaming
And
at the
that's
mouth,
what's
too.
going to happen. These people are going to start making really dumb mistakes. You know, if you're sitting at the grown-up table and you're listening to Fauci talk, you're thinking to yourself, what's this guy even doing at this table?
Right.
Because he makes no sense. He contradicts himself constantly, and he's a senseless boob. And the thing is, the normies are starting to come around and pick up on this. Once the normies pick up on it, they're done.
What scares me, though, Brad, is the fact that people who are starting to realize they might have been wronged refuse to admit that they're wrong, or their government lied to them. And it's very hard to admit that you've been basically
they cannot afford monetarily to admit they're wrong, guys.
Yeah.
Well, and not only that, but
and look at all the
nobody,
money.
I mean, including me, I don't want to believe that our government has been lying to us. All my life, I've been, taught to trust the government, that essentially, they're there to protect us, blah, blah, blah. Now, that trust started to wane, I think, when I was about 8. But nobody wants to believe the government is our mortal enemy, but they have shown us without a doubt that they are truly the enemy of we the people.
My problem would be that the government, in some cases, the government may have started off trying to help us. In this case, I don't think that's the case at all.
Well, they started this
They
crap
warned
too.
everybody in the 90s.
No.
The government, I think, as far as health, was there up to about the mid 90s. And quite honestly, I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but I'm becoming one. I think around the mid 90s.
Welcome to the family.
Yeah, really, that Social Security wasn't going to be there because they're bankrupting it because they stole from it.
Right.
So instead of taking all the trillions that they're taking from the taxpayers to this day and shoring up Social Security and Medicare, they've decided to kill off the older people and as many people as possible so that, in my opinion, you're not paying into it. Don shaking his head no.
Disagree.
Well,
I could not disagree more.
All right.
How much time we got? Brad?
As much as you need. As much as you need.
why do you disagree?
I disagree, ladies and gentlemen,
You
because
disagree. You're not getting spaghetti and balls tonight.
well, I'll beg for it. I will beg for your balls, Donna. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to wake up and start behaving like a grown-up. We are at war.
Yep.
This is World War IV.
Well, that is
This
war.
is World War IV, and for the first time in the history of the United States, the war is taking place not between other countries or other groups of countries. The war is taking place between a country's citizens and that country's government. And it's happening all over the world. It's in the United States. It's in Canada. It's in South America. It's in Central America. It's in Europe.
Australia.
This is a war. And if you don't start acting like we're at war and thinking like we're at war, you will become a casualty of said war.
Yeah.
Period. Full stop.
Well, that's kind of what I said. They've basically, by trying to kill off the older people, they're at war with the American people. Hey, I have a saying from Joseph Stalin.
All right.
1 death is a tragedy. 1 million is a statistic.
Oh, good point.
That'll tell you where it's coming from.
Good point.
Yep.
It is. again, it's amazing that we've found our way to this point in history where we actually have to look and acknowledge the fact that the government does not have any of our best interests at heart. I mean, there are some, and I feel the need to the caveat that there are some good people who have work in the government. There's still, there are a few good people. Very few, though. I think the majority are just it's become just a giant fustercluck of the swamp. But we have to remember, and what I say on the Daily Mojo all the time at the end, we have to. Patriots have to hang together. We really do. And I think that if nothing else, if we all just remember that it's not us against each other out here, it's us against them in Washington. If we can convince enough people who are still on the fence of that, we may have a shot at getting the country back. Maybe.
Yeah.
And
it took Joe Rogan to start to wake up the sleeping giant.
Amazing.
Scary enough as it is.
It took Rogan to wake up the normies.
Well,
yes,
the sleeping giant's been awake.
But you're right
true.
with the normies. That's who we have to get after. The people who are just slow to want to believe.
Yeah.
Well, you're not going to convince all of them, guys. You're not going to convince all of these normies. Sadly, I think many of them are probably going to perish in this war.
They're abnormies.
Right. Well,
hey, only 3%. Only 3% of the U.S. took part in the revolution. Everybody else, 97%, either sat on the sidelines or was afraid to go against the crown.
Hey, before we run out of time, I think it's very important, Brad, that we let everybody that's listening know that Ron Phillips is on Getter and his handle is @RealRonPhillips.
Nice.
@RealRonPhillips on Getter. Get over there and follow this guy. He's a changer. He's a mover. He's a shaker.
He's an influencer
glue that holds everything you listen to together.
All of that means I'm a wannabe.
Ron Phillips.
You know what
or,
though?
If not,
everybody started with that internal burning, just like you have right now, Ron.
Yes.
You just it's that fire inside.
It's a fire.
As long as you keep that burning, we'll all be good.
And it doesn't smell good, but yes, I have a fire.
But it's fire burning.
and if they go on Getter and see Ron's picture, they will think that.
As a matter of fact, I sent Brad that picture just now. So.
Oh, did you? Good. I'm
Okay.
looking
Ron
at that.
had
hemorrhoids,
You're just
separated at birth. Ron Phillips and Rip from Yellowstone.
That's right.
Separated at birth.
All right.
There you go.
As always, thank you for allowing us to coattail on your notoriety, fame, and just general good looks. Donna Fiducia, Don Newen, Cowboy Logic, again, coming up tomorrow at
noon Eastern. On Mojo 50 Radio, and then again at 11 p.m. Eastern.
That is a sexy picture of you, Ron.
You could have just left that out.
Why?
You could have.
I could have, but why would I?
Although I'm getting followers now, so thank you for that.
Never trust a man you can blindfold with dental floss.
I don't even like that. That was mean,
sexy, hot,
cruel, but true as shit.
I tell you.
So,
and you can't tell which one's the wonky eye.
That's true, and that's why. I
think you should use that one across all platforms.
I'm not using that across all platforms.
I would if I were you.
I wear the cowboy hat because I produce their show.
Mm-hmm. Here's an update, an important update from American Pride Roasters Coffee. They are catching up on all of the orders from the past week. The temperature is above subarctic levels now, so they can get out there and they can be roasting your favorite coffee. If you've not yet placed an order at American Pride Roasters this year, I would highly recommend you do so before the apocalypse. I mean, it's just a matter of time before, everything just goes to hell in a handbasket, and you might want to have a significant supply of coffee at your disposal prior to. Because the only thing worse than an apocalypse without American Pride Roasters. What can I say? Get yours today at AmericanPrideRoasters.com. Donna thinks they're killing off the population. Could be the older generation. Could actually be. It sounds crazy.
It does sound crazy.
But again,
would you be surprised by that?
Nothing would surprise me at this point.
Nothing. Yeah.
And this is another. When we brought up the 40% increase in deaths at the end of last year, the third and fourth quarter of last year, there is a fact check out there. And I had no idea, by the way, that Fauci's daughter was a fact checker. Did you?
Nope.
No. That would be convenient, wouldn't it? This by the Berkshire Eagle. This was published on, this came from the Associated Press. So as soon as I see the Associated Press being a fact checker, I don't believe what they are, going to say. Pretty much I take whatever the Associated Press says, turn it upside down, and that would be, to me, the truth. So they are saying that the claim that an increase in death benefits paid out by life insurance providers in the third quarter of 2021 in the United States provides evidence that the COVID-19 vaccines, which became widely available in the same year, led to a spike in deaths. They are saying the facts, though. The claim wrongly attempts to tie COVID-19 vaccines to a surge in deaths in the United States that insurance companies reported in 2021. Insurance industry leaders say the Delta variant of the coronavirus and deferred medical care during the pandemic, not vaccines, likely contributed to the increase in deaths. So it was the fact that the Delta was a such a deadly variant, and it was people putting off going to the hospital, even though they had something really bad wrong with them, because of or not even putting it off, but having it put off for them because hospitals weren't, you couldn't go in. Didn't they stop that for a while? I mean, wasn't there a period of time where they wouldn't, am I misremembering that?
Where they wouldn't what? Let you go in?
Yeah.
To visit?
No, they never shut down hospitals to, like, if you had a really bad something, if you had, a bad goiter.
No,
Okay.
but they didn't shut down hospitals. They were just overloaded, apparently.
Right.
A lot of them said. And so they would have to push people off to other hospitals. But
right. That's what they said anyway.
Yeah.
So
I don't think I ever physically saw in the news or anything hospitals that were overloaded with COVID patients.
That's because there weren't any. We saw no moving images of that.
Correct.
Which is because I think it was horseshit. But we never saw the pictures or the video of the rolling morgues being filled up.
Correct.
There's one video of a dude sitting in his car watching them load what appear to be bodies onto an 18-wheeler. But aside from that, there were you could see like 6 bodies in 6 things on carts with sheets over them. So who knows what that was? I mean, a lot of this was, I think, tailor-made for, the Peloton crowd. Even as millions of people got vaccinated against COVID-19 in 2021, reports of death after vaccination remain extremely rare, according to the CDC. So this is the AP reporting that the CDC, these two bastions of truth and honesty, are saying that, if you to die after a vaccination, extremely rare. One blog post circulating widely online this month claims that a rise in deaths in the third quarter of 2021, about 6 months after COVID-19 vaccines became widely available, offers further evidence that something is very wrong with the vaccines. The post's misrepresented comments made by Scott Davison, the CEO of the Indianapolis-based insurance company One America. He said in a press conference late last year that his firm saw a 40% increase in death rates among working age individuals insured under its group life policy in the third quarter. Some posts used that statistic to falsely imply vaccines were to blame. But 65% of the excess deaths in the United States in said third quarter were caused by COVID-19, Davis has said in a statement to the AP citing CDC data. So what was it? Is it just COVID-19, the Delta variant? Is it a combination of all these things? Is it a combination of the Delta being but then again, you go back to what's her name, Rochelle Walensky at the CDC, saying, "Oh, there's a difference between dying of and with." Why is everything so damn murky? because I think they've made it murky because they keep just saying stuff. They don't know. It's like Fauci when he's talking about the vaccine. Well, we don't know. We don't know if it's going to be the efficacy of the third booster shot or the second. If you're talking about the J&J, we don't know how long. Eventually, you're going to need probably the shot in the rectus abdominis. We just don't know.
In the rectus abdominis.
Rectum damn near killed them.
Damn near killed them.
But they are so verbose and obtuse in their language that
Wait a minute.
Both of them at the same time. And they say, and then they use double talk. We have no idea what the hell of the truth is.
That would be verbose and obtuse.
Yes.
Double talk.
You're
Yes.
welcome. See what I did there. After taking part of the news conference was Brian Tabor. He's the president of the Indiana Hospital Association. He also noted a dramatic rise in illness from a different perspective. He said hospitals across Indiana were being flooded with patients with many different conditions. Me think thou doth protest too much. It couldn't possibly be the vaccine. It has to be the Delta and the various other people putting off their cancer treatments, not wanting to go. That's what it was. People didn't want to go into hospitals too because they're afraid they were going to get the Rona. So people with potentially life-threatening conditions were staying away from hospitals. Therefore, ergo, if you will, their conditions could have worsened and they could have hastened their demise. Ever since COVID-19 hit, the world has been bracing itself for huge numbers. Most recently, remember that one. That was the other biggie. So many things we forget. Remember that it was going, when COVID first hit, it was going to be millions wiped out.
Yeah.
Remember the study out of England? Oh, millions. It's got bodies piling up in the streets. And then later, about that, we were drunk. We were drunk when we did all that research.
We miscalculated.
Shit, I mean, you leave one little zero out.
Yeah.
You move the decimal over one, and people freak the F out. Sorry. That's all of that stuff, which is why we're on day 680 of 15 days to flatten the curve. So, again, why would it be so absurd or out of the question that these not-a-vaccines have some role to play in the 40% increase in deaths in the third and fourth quarter of 2021? I mean, why would that be? It's an experimental drug. Why would that be so weird? Some have also suggested opioid overdoses are to blame. Let's go back to that well. Particularly fentanyl. According to the analysis from the CDC, fentanyl fatalities have skyrocketed during the pandemic. Understandably, because people are freaked out. From April 20 to 21, more than 64,000 overdose deaths were attributed to fentanyl poisoning, nearly double the same period in 2019. The drug has become the number one cause of death for Americans between the ages of 18 and 45, according to the Epoch Times. But there's more to the story than fentanyl, although the stories in the Epoch Times. Although the rise in opioid overdoses account for some of the increased deaths in the United States, there's still no comparable opioid crisis in another country reporting a dramatic rise in their non-COVID-19 death rate. I mean, this is, again, going back to the dude in the video that I remember distinctly because it was like, okay, this video is kind of questionable because the dude is standing with his back to the camera talking to this group, saying that was it half the people who got the vaccine were going to die in the next
2 years.
2 years.
Yeah.
You're like, boy, that's a pretty bold statement. If we had a 40% increase in deaths in the last 2 quarters of last year, what the hell is causing it? And if they're going to keep covering this stuff up, How do we know? Like you said, Ron, where the hell do we go to get the truth?
Nobody really knows where to go to get the truth.
That's the biggest problem.
And that is the biggest problem. And the people who know that you can't go find the truth anywhere, take advantage.
Full
of the
advantage
fact
of
that
it.
You can't. Yeah.
This is where we are today. No idea what in the hell, what the hell the truth really is. And again, the hardest part is knowing where to find it, which is why it's so doggone important, to remember your daily mojo and to spread the word about Mojo 50.
What do you mean it's last call?
That, my friends, right on the head, as they say. The end of said Daily Mojo here. I was busy searching for something at the same time. This is Monday, January 24th, year of our Lord 2022.
1/12 of the year's almost already gone.
Is it not? I mean, seriously, this year is already. Death is just staring us in the face. You realize that, Ron?
Yeah, I know.
I mean, with both eyes, for the most part. Let's find out if any of the lessons are staring us straight in the face here. The Knights Who Say Knee, Daily Mojo motto, end the show on a downer. No, we're all going to die. I mean, it's just a question of when and where. The best you can hope for is to die in your sleep. The worst is to watch yourself bleed out of your toenails while you're laying in a puddle of sewage. But it could happen. B from the SAV, there are very defined rules for getting your meatballs in the Newen household. Now, she said, what did she say? She said spaghetti and balls.
Spaghetti and balls.
She did not say meatballs.
BAWLS.
Balls. I would pay good money for
Balls.
pictures.
I've had her bowls before.
Wow. I have no doubt. Aaron Barker says, conservatively, 150,000 people have died from vax assassination. Wouldn't surprise me. Wade Robertson, that computer model of millions dead was probably more the route that they had wanted it to go. Would you be surprised? No, I wouldn't. Because I was looking, I know what it was. It was the whole Social Security thing. This is the lie that they've been telling us forever. About Social Security, just talking about politicians lying in general. This is from 1980. This is a story in the New York Times, 1980. Fiscal crisis for Medicare by 1982, predicted by 3 cabinet officers. And then they go on to talk about how Medicare, Medicaid, and Social Security get a big bankrupt by the year 2000.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
They've been telling us the same shit over and over and over for 40 years. And we still, okay. I mean, a lot of people still, okay. Not us, though. We're different. Oblivion Flickering. No, she's not a fact checker. The rumors that Dr. Fauci's daughter looks fat in a checkered dress. But I could have my facts wrong. You could, but I doubt it. Coming up next over most of these Mojo 50 radio stations, it is the encore presentation of Abnormal Realities with Ron and his old friend Rocky. What's today?
It's our Freaky Friday edition. Mm-hmm. So it's a replay.
Of a
encore
replay.
Presentation.
Encore, the best of.
Yeah.
The meh of.
From Friday night.
Gotcha. Don't forget, we the people must hang together, or we do face indeed the alternative. 6 separate Tyrannus, resist stupid, and good night to Doc Thompson.
Wherever you are.
I think there's a bell count coming your way. We'll find out momentarily. Clear? Oh, sure you are.
Sure you are.
I think there is. Aha! Aha, he says, assuredly. All I must do is that. And then this. I didn't. Hold on. Hang on. Hold on a second. It's working. So, you look good in those pants there, Ron.
Thank you, brother.
Oh, look, he's here.
Good morning, Mojo 50. I'm Leprechaun, and here with the bell count for the Daily Mojo, Monday, January 24th, 2022. Today there were 35 missed innuendo bells for monkeys, my cock, come down, queer, bone touched, a little prick. 6 actual bells, 8 rim shots, and 3 Twilight Zones. Peace out, boys. Stay healthy. Talk to you mañana.
Uh-huh. Do you know the Who's song, Squeeze Box?
I probably know it.
Mama's got a squeeze box she wears on her chest.
No.
And she plays it, and you get no rest because she's playing it. Yeah, you do.
Elytron.
You know it.
Elytron.
Elytron? Is that the squeeze
No,
box?
it's not the Squeeze Box. I'm just saying, you know the song Squeeze Box by The Who.
Okay.
Well, all right. Well, we'll wait till Earworm Wednesday to discuss it because the reason they even wrote that song was just to get to say, we'll talk about it later.
Elytron.
It's a noun. No idea.
No.
One of the pair of hardened forewings of certain insects as beetles, forming a protective covering for the posterior or flight wings.
Elytron.
Elytron.
Yeah, those freaky little front thingies that are just,
Wow.
Yeah, I know, right? You know what we're going to do, Ron?
What?
We are going to time this thing so badass bitchin'. Are you ready? Because
That is a wrap.